Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on DC TV, the Arrowverse, and just Crisis on Infinite Earths because, well, they gave us some more Crisis on Infinite Earths major teasers heading into next week's crossover. So as I'm sure a decent amount of you would have seen, whether that be through the video I uploaded about maybe like 16 hours ago from when this video goes live, or just from watching Batwoman or Supergirl, or just by seeing it on YouTube or another social media site, there was a teaser scene for Crisis on Infinite Earths reveal that showcased Nash Wells and his entry point into the Crisis story. Now, we'll leave the video to that linked in the description down below if you want to go check it out if you haven't yet, so yeah. But in this video, we are going to be going over the Crisis setup from yesterday's Supergirl episode, and towards the end of the video, we will go over some Crisis spoilers. I haven't put those in the title most likely. These are, like a special bonus for those that have watched the video, or that chose to click on the video, but I will let you know when we get to them just in case you don't want to hear them, so don't worry about that. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know all of your various opinions on what we go over and your various theories around them if there are any. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, why not drop a like on it to show support and excitement for Crisis. But of course, let's actually watch those scenes in question.
Well done, John Jones. You passed the test.
Test? You released my brother from the Phantom Zone. You brought my brother here.
When I saw you fight in Elseworlds, I could see that you were a great warrior, but one plagued by his past, and that made you vulnerable. You believed it was because you had left Mars, but it was something far, far greater, John. Your brother. But now that you have faced those demons, you have come to learn your vulnerabilities are your strengths. And now you are ready.
Ready for what?
A crisis.
So the first one to go over is, of course, the Martian Manhunter stuff. We'll go through it chronologically. So we see and hear him talking to his brother Malefic, who had been brought to Earth right at the end of last season by, you've guessed it, well, not you've guessed it, but by the Monitor. Why did I say that anyway? Now, he was set upon John Jones, aka the Martian Manhunter. Now, throughout the first half of this season of Supergirl, we have seen him be a nuisance, is probably the best word to use, to Martian Manhunter and the rest of Supergirl's team. Now, Jean gets Malefic to return to Mars, once that whole conflict is squashed, to help bring the civil war that is still raging there to an end, which would be fitting as we learn throughout the season that he was a major factor in all of it starting in the first place. But as we find out straight after Malefic leaves, we actually see the Monitor appear. Now, Malefic being brought here was all a test for Martian Manhunter by the Monitor, and that was due to him being a promising warrior, as the Monitor did see in Elseworlds, and he was like, hey, he's got potential, but having the troubled past with his brother and all of that made him quite vulnerable, and the Monitor's like, hey, that's a bit of a weakness there. And of course, this vulnerability, which, we witnessed throughout the early parts of this season. Now, this is then when we see the Monitor telling him that now he is ready for Crisis. Now, Martian Manhunter does play into the spoilers. I am going to reveal that, obviously later in the video. But it is cool that Martian Manhunter is given some focus in Crisis, as he is one of the most powerful, heroes. And even though, like myself and others, really haven't counted him as a paragon, there is a strong possibility that he could be, especially when we jump into those spoilers.
Checkmate. Again. Finally, you've returned. I don't know if anybody's told you this, but the feng shui of this place is a bit stale.
I brought you back because the universe will need a mind like yours.
Someone who can checkmate anyone?
Time has come for you to fulfill your destiny, Lex Luthor. You could now become the hero that you have longed to be.
I've always been the hero. Happy to help. But first we have to discuss my sister.
But this is where we move on to the second setup from the end of the Supergirl episode, where we move to the Monitor Sphere, I guess it is, where we see someone playing chess by themselves. That's an interesting way to play chess, and that someone is none other than Lex Luthor. Obviously, if you watch Supergirl and you remember, Lex Luthor was killed by Lena Luthor, his sister, at the end of last season, shot in the chest. But right as the season was about to end, the monitor shows up and is like, yo, what's going on? Oh, wait, you're dead. And then just takes Lex Luthor's corpse with him. And we presumed that, he would reanimate him, bring him back to life. And that's exactly what happened. Now we hear the Monitor tell Lex that he brought him back to life as the universe would need a mind like his, and it is time for Lex to fulfill his destiny, and that he can now become the hero that he has longed to be. But before all that, Lex wants to discuss the matters of his sister. Now I'm not too sure if that is going to play out post-Crisis or during Crisis. I guess that's for us to wait and find out, I guess. I don't know. Now, throughout the crossover, I feel Lex will play multiple roles from the comic book story, all of them being versions of Alexander Luthor or Lex Luthor. So they might give him a super suit or just powers, like the older version from Earth 3, or just make him somewhat of a version of Alexander Luthor Jr. from Earth 3 as well. It will be interesting to see what they do. But the Monitor did have the Book of Destiny in his hands when he approached Lex, which wasn't present when he was talking to Martian Manhunter. So it seems the Monitor might make stuff happen soon after this with Lex, give him some powers, but we know that the Book of Destiny will play a role as we saw it in other promo images with other characters in the event. But yeah, it seems Lex will be using it or have it used on him, but just having Lex Luthor involved with the Crisis crossover in the Arrowverse is a win in my opinion. It should be good to, just to have him there, and Jon Cryer, in my opinion at least, is a pretty damn good Lex Luthor. But now, let's actually jump into these spoilers. So here is your warning. Go away if you don't want to hear them. This is your final warning. Final warning. 3, 2, 1. If you're still watching and you get spoiled, it's literally your own fault. I don't care if you're 100 meters away from your computer for some reason, you couldn't get there in time to switch off the video. Not my fault. You took the L here. Let's go. Now, these take place fairly early in the Legends part of the episode, which is the final part. So this isn't in like the next week or so. This is after the break. So in 2020. So we have the Arrow episode and the Legends episode on the same night. It's like a 2-hour finale. So this is in that final hour of the event. And some dialogue here might change from what I say here to what we actually see, as things are often changed on set. But for the most part, this is how things are going to go. And man, I'm going to be completely honest, this is pretty insane. It's something that I think most of us wanted to see go down, but it is just still insane to think that it's actually going to happen now. Like, I'm still mind-boggled enough. I've been sitting on these spoilers for a couple of days. Now, here we go. We're going to start. So J'onn, or, Martian Manhunter J'onn J'onzz, appears and he tells Ray Palmer and Sarah Lance that Earth-38 is no more and that the worlds have merged and only the Paragons are the ones that are even aware of it. So everyone else is oblivious to this, and he has been going from city to city to try and restore as many memories as he can to those that helped in the fight. So there was this fight previously, and he's just trying to remember every single person that was there that can then help in the fight afterwards. So he's going to all these different people trying to either ask them if they remembered everything, and if not, try and convince them as to what happened. And the interesting thing here is that Ray Palmer and Sarah Lance aren't Paragons, because Martian Manhunters had to go to them and tell them. So a lot of people thought these two were Paragons, including myself. Pretty much, I think the majority of people thought they were Paragons. So they're not out there. So there's now 2 spare spots for Paragons, and it seems that Martian Manhunter may be a Paragon. I don't know if this necessarily confirms he's a Paragon, but it definitely puts him down there because he is a person that remembers everything. So that's for us to wait and find out, I guess. But Ray Palmer and Sarah Lance, at least, are not Paragons. Now, it isn't made clear whether there is just one Earth now, there's just one Earth left, and every single Earth is just merged into one, or if simply Earth-38 has merged with Earth-1. That isn't made clear here. You can't really tell. Obviously, he says, and that the worlds have merged, but by worlds, he could mean Earth-38 and Earth-1. But I don't know, if it's following Crisis, it should just be one single Earth following, but I guess that's for us to wait and find out. Now, J'onn then approaches and touches Ray Palmer's head, gives him the old head massage, and gives him all this information from what went on previously in not only the Crisis event, but presumably just what the previous existence was like as well. And when he lets go of Ray Palmer starts talking about how he got to see himself as a Superman, which is obviously the Kingdom Come version we will see in parts 2 and 3 at the very least, as well as, and get ready for this, an evil Batman. Ray sees himself as evil Batman going by this. So does that mean Brandon Routh, who plays Ray Palmer, is going to be like Red Death, or is this setting up like DC Metal for next year's crossover. Like, what the hell does that mean? Are we going to see him as an evil Batman? Because from the way this is put, we won't see what Ray's seeing. He'll just snap out of it and tell us what he saw, but you never know. We might actually see it, and we might see him as an evil Batman in the crossover. I have no idea. Now, Sarah Lance then asks him if he's seen Oliver in his travels to restore everyone's memories. He states that he has not seen him anywhere. So does this mean that Oliver is officially, that he officially dies, might I say, in the Arrow episode? Because as I said, this takes place fairly early in the Legends episode, and obviously the Arrow is, the Arrow episode is one before it. So it seems fitting he would go out in the Arrow episode, and maybe the Legends episode would be like the world coming to terms with what happened in Crisis, as well as, I guess, the other heroes learning that Oliver's, died. That's what it seems has happened here. Now, it is important to know that John also goes to the Arrow bunker after this and does the exact same, like gives Renee and stuff the memories, because when Sarah Lance gets there, Renee says, John did the same thing to them, gave them all the memories and stuff. So John is definitely making the rounds to try and get as many people to remember as possible. Now, there is that big fight against the Anti-Monitor, which I'm sure most of you saw set photos for in this Legends part. And I have a feeling all these heroes are the ones that John is able to get through to and, get their memories back in check and, remind them of everything. Because not every hero is here. That's an important thing to note as well. I don't think heroes that aren't here have died outside of Oliver. So, man, this Legends episode seems it's going to be a big, falling out episode, dealing from the worlds merging, as well as having that final fight against the Anti-Monitor. And I wonder if it'll be a bit depowered due to what's happened as well. That's a very interesting thing to keep in mind. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it to go over from the Lex Luthor Martian Manhunter stuff, as well as the spoilers. If you enjoyed the video, it would be awesome if you could drop a like in it to show your support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on that teaser scene from the end of Supergirl, as well as the spoilers if you listen to them. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.